what we got here for today. This is the that we out to the B and Y, which is Brooklyn Navy Yard. Then we got this one, the public programs exhibition and plus, like this one. Let's start with these first. The anchor of USS. Well, this is two S's for this one. Austin, USS Austin. This has the Ark of Those one. Bullets for the Chester's PA, Pennsylvania for this 22500 pounds LBS. That is like 22,500 pounds of those arches like anchors. And might be show you like this. We talked about the anchor of USS Austin for this one was commissioned into the Navy on February 6, 1965 for first day. Over like 40 years in service, Austin serves as a recovery ship for 3 Apollo space missions and was part of the multinational peacekeeping force in Britain during the Lesbian Civil War. But you can read a whole plot of that if you can. But I forgot to tell you about this book. And you guys, it is all yes on the back too. And we can give it a few page. That's for the anchor of USS Austin. Alright, we're just in here that you can see the timelines all the way from the beginning, the 18th to 19th century. Like 1750 through 2000 will be again for this one, all historic. Now the next one we have the cannon. It has this Civil War era cannon was designed to fire a 32 pounds iron ball at close range in ship-to-ship combat. Probably absolutely soon after its competition, the cannon was ultimately set in concrete as a barbell for wrestle into.
We can't enjoy ourselves as you talk too loud.
Let me finish it. To use when they tie up into the pure more than 60 cannons are still in use as bullet at the yard. That is just what it looks I give you for this plot. And I'm going to give you a close-up about the cannon one, like this one. Over here, this is the big picture of the USS Wyoming. It has built in Philadelphia, was fitted at the Brooklyn Navy Yard in 1912, and returned here many times in World War I. Wyoming and escorts convoys and patrol British waters. During World War II, the ship's commanded trained 35,000 gunners on 7 different types of guns, often firing more than 100,000 shells in a given month. On June 30th, 1949, or actually 1945, I forgot that, Wyoming entered the yard for repairs for the last time. It was sold for a straight 2 years later, like this one. And right, I'm gonna give you much overview. So this is the worker safety. It has hard hats and goggles. Like these were the only protection shipyard laborers had for the dangerous work of shipbuilding. USS Constellation presented a popular construction challenge in order to get in and out of Walter Bay and under the Brooklyn Bridge. It had to be fitted with an inspirational hinge mast. This is the drafting kit. It has for the novel and the Johnson driving kit for the absorb for the M. Or this is the art inspired for the Boy, Browser, and Merrill. It has served as the super intense in the drafting rooms of the whole division of the yard before during World War II, not actually World War I. Among his assessment was to design a way of storing 1,000 mines on a mine planter, but I gotta say that word, so that they could be dropped over a ship's stern in a continuous stream at the rate of 1 every 20 seconds without endangering the ship in choppy seas. During World War I, there were no reported incidents of any American ship incurring damage during this work. And you see this bottle of the glass or mustard one. And description we have here for the below 19th century for the U.S. Navy muster bottle, according to Harper's Magazine for December 1870, the Brooklyn Yard is the chief naval and enterprise for the receipt or delivery of the material required at other Navy yards at almost every hours of the day in the business time of the yard. Vast coils of rope may be seen going in at one door, with immense change cables are issuing from another. There is even a pepper and mustard building where spice and condiments are ground, prepared, and packed for ship use. We got here for more about this one. This is on the Brooklyn Navy Yard area view. This is the sit on the Water Bay between the Manhattan and Williamsburg Bridge on the East River. The 300 arcade industrial park neighbors nearby Greenpoint, Williamsburg, Bedford, Sterling Stands, Fort Greene, Clinton Hill, Dumbo, and Vinegar Hill. We're going to show you for this compass, and it's just like, here's what you got here. It tells you for the guidelines, and I'm giving you for example for peacetime. For this one in 1939. It was afterward for the World War II and beyond 1941. And we can give you for this one, rotate from this one, just repeat for this one, and then give you. You can see the boats are on the compass. So I'm going to give you for a rotate this one. Just walk all the way around to this one for this map. That's what it tells for. So you can read about a whole plot about this one from Wallabout Bay to today's yard, and if you can, it is completely up to you for. And this, and like I said before, you can go ahead and just walk through for this historical years for the Wallabout Bay for the today's yard. By the way, I gotta tell you about the maps for those compass, for those protectors, or probably like projector. I forgot to tell you what you call. And it's over here. This is two projectors. It goes around. That tells you about the recording. That tells you for rotate this one. It's made with two projectors on this one and guides. And we see about the horseshoes is for the late 19th or early 2000s, or actually 19th or early 20th century horseshoes, as this metal for horseshoes found on the ground showed horses were needed even after the arrival of steam and rail to move supplies of material into and out of the yard. It was not until World War I that transport became fully managed. And we have those four of those pins right inside it. On the left, this is the Brooklyn Navy Yard launched the buttons during World War II, and the United States built a ship a day, and unpowered lights featured at Kendu Yard and elsewhere. And oh yeah, the launching were festive and joyful occasions.
2007.
Alright, here's the next yard for the second part. And we'll give you for the Commander U.S. Naval Base. Let's just give you slideshows of this one, and then go back and forth.
Also, these are current.
And one for this curve. And we'll give for you 300 arches for the 7+ buildings, 4.8 million square feet under roof, 1,400 business, and 9,000 plus jobs, then $2 in yearly economic impact. And you can hear it on the back there when we can tell you what. And this is what this arrival extends for this. And here's what it looks like. But I can tell you what that's the one for the mans. And of course the manufacturing district. This is the yard tomorrow, and over here yard of today. And just for both yards. We're at the 4th floor at the terrace room. I'll give you guys for a view outside this one. Look at the windows. And over here you can check out it, or you can see it, and at the right, we were still in the Brooklyn Navy Yard. Might be for this one. It, like we said before, that you just saw for the UA for the 1750 until it begins for the 2000. And over here for the like you just read before, they just saw for the compass on the two projectors, and of course might be going all the way to this one, and I give you for the plungers and then everything like gas and that's what you got. So next we're back down on the dirt floor, and we got here for this one. This is a creating job and preparing for war, and you can read it if you can, but we're going to give you for the rest. And this is the day and night, and it's unlikely you work for the World War II for the Marvel films. And you guys here for it, that you see about, I'm going to give you for inside of this boat. Here's one here, and it looks like the sewing factory probably. And here's with the healing, welding ships, supplies, and then oh yeah, closures, and then the drowned off. And then I'm gonna give you a whole one anyway, but we're gonna see if they have more of that, and we'll check it out. It is with the USS Missouri for this one. It's look at all those time slides with the kind of pictures on it, and you can watch it also about the USS Missouri for this one, and you can look at how big that was, and oh, that one close. That'd be one. Just like let me give you a rotate that. Just always moving this one, and it has. Can you see that? That's the USS Missouri. Now, when you have therefore, this is the what does the market movements means to you for the understanding the full complexity of design and making and that of the parts and more than just physical things. For this is what Sam Weston says, and also there is the DIY, the space for the real world objects, and through demonstrating industrial style making is probably some relief from a world of the economic and marginal dangerous mass structures. That's what Michelle, for instance, also Saki Hayashi said about a maker is someone who creates a movement through a product, idea, or services to inspire changes, and this is what might be for designers. And here's about the honor of the man of the New York naval shipyard who sacrificed their lives on 19 December of 1960 in the construction of the USS Constellation. And here's this one. Maybe I might tell you this. So we're at the second floor. This is the we got for the USS Kearsarge. It was the one of the 24 SA class aircraft carrier built for the planned invasion of Japan. The ship saw no action in World War II, but earned 2 battle stars in the Korean War. While undergoing modernization in the early 1950s, Kearsarge was the backdrop for scenes in a movie classic, The Cane Martini, in 1954. In the late 1950s, Kearsarge was modified again for use as an anti-submarine carrier after serving as the recovery ship for the last 2 manned Project Mercury space missions in 1962 and 1963. It completed its career in the Vietnam War, earning 5 battle stars following the fleet drawdown of the late 1960s. Kearsarge was decommissioned in 1970. Here's what we got here for the USS Arizona. It was in 1913 Congress. Allies built in the USS Arizona. It was the name of the 48 states which has been admitted the Union just a year earlier. Arizona was one of the 2 Pennsylvania-class super dreadnought and merged battleship comparable to those being built by Great Britain and Germany until the World War II attack of Pearl Harbor. The ship saw little action, but what was a symbol of American power and self-confidence. You can show here as is the yard in the 1960. Arizona was ready for action when America entered. It was the World War II for 6 months later, but it never crossed the Atlantic because there was a shortage for oil in Great Britain after the war. Arizona was sent to protect Americans during the Greek occupation of Similars, which is enough for the is moored in Turkey, but never saw battle. The ship was featured in Here Comes the Navy in 1935, starring James McCartney. On Saturday, December 6, 1941, the yard-built ship tender vessel came alongside Arizona as its morning on battleship rode in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, to service the giant warship. They were still moored together. The following mooring was in the Japan attack. This is the Liberty Lawn Rally at the yard for the U.S. invasion in World War I. Lasted a year and a half, a cost over $30 billion, but it is $30 billion in an age when the entire annual federal budget was usually less than $1 billion. Liberty bonds were one way of funding the war efforts. At first, sales were disappointing, partly because many Americans opposed the war, but also because there had been no campaign to sell the bonds to average citizens. Secretary of the Treasury William G. McArdle put together a comprehensive campaign to address both problems. Federal roads and movie stars, movie stars such as Al Jolson, Mary Pickford, Douglas Fairbanks, and Charlie Chaplin hosted bond rally like this one at the yard. Famous artists such as Joseph Pano and James Monterey Flagg were recruited to design patriotic posters. For the third Liberty launch, 9 million posters were distributed, along with 5 million window stickers and 10 million buttons. Boys and Girl Scouts sold the bonds under the storage. Every scout to save a soldier. Army pilots were sent barnstorming around parts of the countries where airplanes were still a novelty, performing stunts, staging dog fights, and offering rides to anyone who brought a bond. As a result of all this, the second, third, and fourth bond issues were oversubscribed, thanks in part in participation and at the yard. Participation, I just say that word. Anyway, an enabling act of Congress from World War I remains the authorities for issuing U.S. Treasury bonds today, and security known as Liberty bonds were issued in the aftermath of the 9/11 attack to finance rebuilding. But this is in 2001 in Tuesday, September 11th. This is the USS Maine. It's here for November 1890 through February 1898, and this is for Dan Parasite model shipwrights. And right, we got here before I tell you this boat. That we tell you. I'm gonna give you a close up for the USS Maine, that you remember what the sank of the ships, and it's remembering the mains for this, and it can pay all. I'm gonna give you for rotate. And now the rent has lots of steams. You can see our 4 boats and then other ones and 8s and carry on there, lower down. That's the USS Maine. And you can read about the chances in life and work about this guide and a whole thing. If you want to prefer, you can do that one by one. And it tells you that you did for the Brooklyn Navy Yard, and it's kind of the pilots only, and then Army Forces on, but whatever you call this one. But if you can, you can go ahead and read it. Right behind here, this is the accomplished and experiments for this one, and it has what you can be creating a modern navy, and then guys like for the periodically for a satellite, and then that you saw this one that you have battle for the revolutions, and also pigeons, and then into the first one. I'm going to give it right in the middle. Let me give you for the rest. This is for the Civil War, and you can read it, and followed by for the New Navy. And just guys, if you can, you go ahead and just walk around here, or you can give it a closer one, and you can read for all plots. This is the whole plots of that for this one. Now this is the novel lunches for this one. I'm going to give you for this one, and you can read the whole plot if you can, but on the bottom, or if you can do that with both. And I'm going to give you for this one. it's like a auditorium on those like a 2D dimensionals, and that's the one. And we have here for the USS Ohio, for this one, and this is for the 2,700 tons of 74 guns warship, was an application project for a cash-poor country. It took like about 3 years to build under the supervision of the designer Henry Eckford, and was launched on March 30th, 1820. From the first sailor was amazed by the ship's stability, accuracy, and speed, even when carrying many heavy guns and a full load of store. The choice of Hercules and the figurehead provide ABT like Hercules. Ohio was powerful and skillful like him. They had many labors to perform, from suppressing the slave trade as part of the Africa Squadron, the battling pirates, the scourge of the 19th century, as flagship of the Metropolitan Squadron. During the Mexican War, Ohio supported the scourge of Vera Cruz and Matthew C. Perry's Tuxpan River expedition. Later, it spent 2 years policing California during the gold rush. I'll give you for the rest. This is the Navy's mission and developing yard, and over here, this one, USS Adam, USS Peacock, Jonathan Dorrance, Isaac Chauncey, USS Ramses, USS Dolphin III, William Dudley, Henry Eckford, USS Savannah, and then USS Purple Spine. Now, this is the USS Monitor. This is in January 1862 to December 1862, but this is in both years. Like this. For this is the ragtail designs, the turret, and kind of. This is like you can give it a roof, and then you got. There's the sailors on here, right on this one. That's the USS Monitor. That is. Then we have here for the Brooklyn Navy Yard in the age of the wood and sails. The craftsman of the early yard and then the American wooden shipbuilding tradition, and then of course timber for the ship, like 4 of those. I'll give you for this one the barrels on here, then the flags, or maybe like a blanket. Anyway, whatever something, the ropes, and then tells you boy. I saw these boxes with the sparrow cask, shine nails, and the cannonballs. This one for the large cases, or the briefcases. I forgot to tell you what cases he got. And this is the tools of age of wood and sails. Every craftsman brought 2 things with him as he moved from job to job: a set of the manual skills built up over years of experience and appearances and journeyman, and a box of tools which were to apply them. A shipwright's toolbox, like a doctor's bag, included an assortment of implements. And this is one for the life of the wooden sailing vessels, and then the cross select of the interior of the mid-19th century warship. This depicted its complex life, men and work, food and animal storages, the mess room, quarters for the capital officers and crews, and the outhouses and the head of the ship. A close look at the picture reveals it's all in miniature details, and this is for this guy right here. And you can give that for a close one, all numbers, 30 of those on the right here, and make sure to do that one by one. Now, this is like a flip book. This is the other dry docks, and this one for the 6 of the dry docks on green. For this one, you can rotate it, you can put the clocks of points and turn to the right, and like this one for it, on green. On the red one, this is the dry dock number 1, on the red one for this one. Now, do the same as this one. Like these 2 of docks, dry docks, and here's one for it. You can rotate it here, just like a flip book for the manuscope. This is for what do you call this for? This is a multiscope. Multiscope it is. Now, it's just like a book. You can read this one for this one in here, and you can tell you for the imagining. And it's like let me give you for this one. You can I mean, even before this one, I can tell you that, and I get like a whole parts of this one. It's from the plus for this one, the 8, the Brooklyn Naval Hospital, and I tell you, it ties like for, and right here, and read from the beginning until the end. All finished with the Brooklyn Navy Yard, and we see about the warships. We will see about like, you know, it's kind of for the, you know, what do you call this one? Oh yeah, it is like a military, and it's like, and you know that everything about the Brooklyn Navy Yard, it's always about a chain. And so if you're interested about the Brooklyn Navy Yard, let me know in the comments below. You have to share videos after you just subscribe my channel, and then you have to hit the subscribe button and then click the bell to see all notifications about new videos and the latest video. You can follow me on my social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, then Weibo, and then everything, or LinkedIn, whatever you call it. But anyway, just follow me on social media for each one, and then just do that. So as always, I hope you enjoy for the Brooklyn Navy Yard. And if you like, you can check out for the Brooklyn Navy Yard online at brooklynnavyyard.org, and then follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Enjoy.